Hey everybody, Drummer Ruben here once again. I wanted to show you through a little bit of my horror movie collection since it's that time of year. So here we go. Here we have Alien quadrilogy. So it has Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Of course, the first and second one are my favorite ones. Sigourney Weaver, amazing in this. This is an all-time favorite. And then next here we have Alien Covenant, which is one of the newer Alien movies. American Werewolf in London. I love this one, especially the changing scene from man to wolf. I remember this scaring me terribly when I was a kid. It was really, really freaky. Good movie overall. The Amityville Horror, the original one. Love this one. So glad to have that on Blu-ray. Black Phone. This is a more recent movie that's actually really, really good. It's scary and suspenseful. I can't wait to see how they do part 2 of this one. Candyman. Now, this is a really great classic horror movie. Candyman is one of my favorites, and it's always been one of the scariest movies to me. And then we have the more recent Candyman. Jordan Peele did this. I thought it was really well done and a really good tribute to the original Candyman, and even had the original actor. Then next here we have Carrie, and that's a classic Stephen King one from the 1970s. The original Carrie, not the remake, which I don't even know if the remake was good, but I know the original is good with Sissy Spacek and everything. Such a great classic. Then we have Children of the Corn. That's another Stephen King original, and Linda Hamilton is in this one from Terminator. And then one of my all-time favorites ever, Christine. This is another Stephen King classic. I've watched this movie hundreds and hundreds of times. And then next up here, I'm going to have the Conjuring 6 film collection. This is Annabelle, The Nun, Annabelle Comes Home, The Conjuring, Annabelle Creation, and Conjuring 2. Really scary. I'd say that my favorite of these is probably the first Conjuring. You can't really top that, but the second Conjuring was good. All these are good in their own way. Then the more recent edition of The Conjuring, this is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Great movie, really scary, and it tells a really cool story about, you know, is it a person's fault if they're possessed while they commit a murder? Should they be held accountable for that? Then The Craft. This is a 90s classic. Dr. Sleep is the sequel to The Shining, and The Shining is one of my all-time favorite Stephen King stories. The movie of The Shining is great, and this does a really good job of creating a sequel for it. I really loved it. Another one here, more of a weird sci-fi, Donnie Darko. Sort of horror, although it's not really that scary, but it's just a weird and awesome movie. Don't Breathe is a great movie. It's really, really suspenseful, really scary. Definitely worth a watch. Don't Breathe 2 as well. That's a really awesome one. Love this movie too. Then here we have another all-time classic. One of my favorite vampire movies ever, Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is a great one. Very, very well done movie, and one of my all-time favorites. Then we have my favorite of the Evil Dead movies, Evil Dead 2. This is a really awesome movie, classic, funny, scary, wacky, just probably the best Evil Dead movie out of the entire series. The Exorcist. I don't know what it is, but for some reason the possession movies, specifically The Exorcist, also the first Conjuring, but this one, I haven't even opened it ever. I've had this movie for years and I've never even opened it because I cannot watch it. It's that scary. My other favorite in the Exorcist series is The Exorcist Part 3. This is really great, totally different than the first Exorcist movie. Very, very well done. Then we have Final Destination collection. This is Final Destination 1 through 4, and these are awesome movies, really scary in a different kind of way. right? Fate's gonna catch up to you. You know it's gonna happen. The Fog. This is an early John Carpenter movie. It does have Jamie Lee Curtis. This is a really cool movie, a classic. I love most John Carpenter movies. This one is definitely worth watching. Then I have my Friday the 13th collection. This has all 8 Friday the 13th movies in there. I think there may be another Friday the 13th that came out after this time, but these are the 8 original ones. Yeah, they're cheesy slasher horror, but it's just awesome. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. These movies scared me when I was a kid. All the ghost scenes and everything. Great movies and hilarious. Goonies. There's some scary moments in it, but it's not too scary for kids, really. Gremlins is the same way. This is the original Gremlins. It's more of kind of like a Christmas horror movie. It's always been one of my favorites since I saw it in a theater when I was a kid. We have the Halloween collection here next. This is Halloween 1 through 5. And then the second disc is Halloween 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It includes the Rob Zombie Halloweens. Now, there's a lot that can be said about these movies, right? A lot of people only like the originals. Some people only like certain ones. I mean, I like them all. I even like Halloween 3, even though it's totally different. It has no Michael Myers in it. Even the Rob Zombie ones, they're a different take on it, but they're great. They're really cool. Then I do have the new trilogy of Halloween. Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. Those 3 movies also, I really like them. I think they're great. Even Halloween Ends. A lot of people don't like that movie, I guess. I do. Hellraiser 1 and 2 here. Horror classics. Then one of my other favorites, Idle Hands. This one's really, really good. Another vampire favorite, Interview with the Vampire. Anne Rice. Great novelist from New Orleans. This one and Bram Stoker's Dracula are my 2 favorite vampire type movies of all time. In the Mouth of Madness. This is great. It's another John Carpenter classic. And then I have my It collection. First off, the original It with Tim Curry. This was a made-for-TV movie, but it's still great, especially because of his performance as Pennywise. The new It 1 and 2. This is my 4K of the first Jaws movie. And it's great. You know, what a cool movie. Love it. And then the Jaws 3 movie collection, which has Jaws 2, 3, and Jaws Revenge. The Jaws 3 that's in here is actually 3D, and I have a 3D TV. The 3D in this is really cool. When they're underwater, it looks great. Then we have Jennifer's Body. This is a kind of a more recent addition to my collection, but it was a great movie. Misery is another great one. It's another Stephen King story. And look, it's got the picture on the front with the foot getting smashed by the hammer. Oh, worst scene ever. Worst but best. The Mist, Stephen King again. This one has one of the craziest, frustrating endings of any movie ever. Nightbreed, it's another classic. I've only watched this a couple times. It's really weird. This is not horror, but it is Halloween, The Nightmare Before Christmas. You can't go a season of Halloween without watching this. Then I have the Nightmare on Elm Street collection here. This is all first 7 movies. Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. When they tried to replace him with that other guy, the other character to play Freddy Krueger, that sucked. Like, you cannot replace Robert Englund very easily. Now, I did see like a recent new fan film where they had a different guy playing Freddy, and it was actually good. So maybe that gives hope that someone can play Freddy, but it didn't work out when they tried to reboot this. The Omen, this is like a classic one about the child who is the son of the devil and everything. Paranormal Activity, especially the first one, is really freaky. Like, you think, well, is this real? Like, the whole time you're watching it, it really seems real. The original Pet Sematary, another Stephen King great movie. I also have the more recent version of Pet Sematary, which is this one. I mean, you can't really compare the two. They are slightly different stories. They changed the storyline a little bit for the new one, but it's really well done, and so I like both of them. Then we have Phantasm. Everybody knows about this one. Another one of my all-time favorites right here, Poltergeist. I saw this one when I was probably far too young to be seeing it. Poltergeist 2, in my opinion, just as good as the first Poltergeist. Such a great movie. Prince of Darkness, another John Carpenter great. If you haven't seen Prince of Darkness, you gotta see it. This is a very, very good movie. Next up, we have Pumpkinhead. This is a really great classic as well. One of my all-time favorite horror movies. If you haven't seen Pumpkinhead, watch it. The actor that played the Pumpkinhead is the same guy that plays the alien in Alien. Really cool. A Quiet Place, I liked this one. Kind of like Alien, this cross between this alien invasion and horror movie. Very good though. Another classic, Return of the Living Dead. Brains! Yeah. If you haven't seen this one, again, it's one you gotta see. Return of the Living Dead 2. I liked it, but I mean, it's really silly. Then up next here we have the Saw collection. All 8 Saw films here. Very suspenseful, very gruesome and scary. Scary stories to tell in the dark. It gave me a little bit of like Disney Channel vibes sometimes or something, which is not altogether a bad thing, but just keep that in mind with this one. Then the Scream 3 movie collection. This is Scream 1, 2, and 3. Wes Craven loved the Scream movies, just like Nightmare on Elm Street. They are awesome. Then I have Scream 4 here and Scream 5. We have The Shining. It's a work of art. Jack Nicholson in this movie is unsurpassed as an actor. Sleepaway Camp, one of the 80s classics with a crazy twist ending that would never ever hold up in today's world. Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton version of it with Johnny Depp. Very cool movie. Next here we have Teen Wolf, the original one with Michael J. Fox. It's kind of a comedy, but it is one of the classics. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. This was filmed not too far from Austin, here where I live. I've been to the original gas station from this movie. This is one of the scariest, most gruesome, crazy movies ever. Then we have They Live, the John Carpenter. Again, this is not like that much of a horror movie. I don't think it's that scary, but it is a good social commentary on how people are, you know, basically brainwashed by the media. And check this one out. It has a lot of relative social commentary even for today. The Thing, this is the original one, and then this is the prequel that came out like in 2010 or so. The original one is the best one. The prequel is also good, but the original The Thing is like the best. Last but not least, I have Trick or Treat, the one with Ozzy and Gene Simmons guesting. They put them really big on the cover, but they're not the main characters of this movie. They're just like bit parts. But it's a really cool movie. It's about this kid who plays a record backwards and releases a rock star demon. Pretty awesome. You know, I understand that people like to watch streaming now, and so do I. I use Netflix and other streaming services all the time. The thing is, I like to have my own movie library. So if the Wi-Fi goes down or the internet happens to be off or whatever, I can still watch my movies. Check this out. Blockbuster. So that's pretty much it for the tour of my movie collection. So remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And have a happy Halloween.